It's a Tuesday, 10 a.m. 2021. I know. Um, yes, it's good to be here, and I wanted to share with you before we get started on our gorgeous Posies alternative cards. I don't know what the weather was like for you yesterday, but here in Southern Ontario, it was a gorgeous day. It was like beautiful spring weather in the city. It was 20 degrees. We drove out to Rondo Park in the afternoon and it was like 14 degrees, so a lot cooler, but still the sunshine was gorgeous and it was just so nice. It was just a great day to be alive. And I'm reading a book right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big book reader. So every night when I go to bed before I sleep, I'm almost always reading. I'm always reading at least one book at a time, sometimes two, sometimes a fiction book and a nonfiction book. But right now I'm reading the Tattooist of Auschwitz. And yesterday was such a beautiful day that I had washed all my sheets and duvet cover and I had hung the duvet out. And so when I crawled into bed last night, it was just such a beautiful feeling. It felt so good. The bed was fresh and clean. And I lay down and I thought, wow, the things that we take for granted, a clean bed, freedom, food whenever we want, and yeah, reading a book like that does put things into perspective about all the things that we have and that we take for granted. So anyway, I'm going to flip the camera. I have some wonderful cards for you today. If you want to join in on the chat, then make sure you've logged into YouTube with your Gmail account so you can talk with me as well. If you catch it later, that's great too. It's just really nice. My purpose of this is to kind of take the place of the coffee and a card classes that I used to do every Tuesday at 10 a.m. And since that didn't work because of COVID, I thought it would be nice to go on with you virtually. So if you have the gorgeous Posies card kit, then you can create along with me. You can also have the monthly kit shipped to you if I do other cards, okay? And if you order the gorgeous Posies kit and the stamp set through my online store, then you will get the bonus 4-card kit mailed to you. So you can make them all, and you can just look at the previous videos to see the tutorials for all of them. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope that you join me. Later on, you will see, if you watch the video later, if you click on show more, then you'll have the list of all the products that I used. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip the camera and we're gonna get going. There we go. And there's my desk, and now with my other hand, oops, I'm going to put the stand down. All right, and hopefully this will work. All right. There we go. So here we go. The cat is stuck in the stamp room and she's not happy about it. So these are the 2 cards that we're going to be making. And I'm just going to move them over to the side. I want to see if I can just zoom in a little bit. Whoa, not that much. I have a really hard time with that. Sorry, of getting the zoom to be just right. So I have a few pieces made already. And what did I want to show you? This is the kit. Okay, so the box is really pretty, and then it comes with 4 different cards, and altogether I believe there's 16 cards. So a great, it's a beautiful kit, just a beautiful kit, and this is the stamp set that goes with it. So next week, I realize there's 5 weeks in this month. Next week, I'm going to show you a card that I made based on the design of the box. You know what, might as well show you the real box. Here is the box, okay? And based on this, I made a card. So I'll show that to you at the end of the video, and next week we'll make it together. Okay? So let's get started. We'll do this easy one first. Well, they're both easy, really. I put all my little supplies in a clear envelope so that I wouldn't lose anything. So we start with a Whisper White card base, and it is 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And it's a thick, basic white. We've actually changed our colors. Then I have a piece of Rococo Rose, and it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. We're going to take a piece of this paper. This was free paper from Celebration. I forget what it's called. And it's 4 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to put those on first, and then I'll put the little blue strip on. So I don't know if you missed the beginning of my video, but I was talking about the book that I was reading, the Tattooist of Auschwitz. And climbing into a nice clean bed last night with a fluffy duvet cover. And, I just thought, wow, thank you, God, for the freedoms that we have and all the luxuries that we take for granted. So this little piece, I don't have my ruler here, so it's 4 inches by 1 1/4. Okay, and it's just going to go a little bit on the left side of the card. So yeah, you know, the thing is we usually take for granted what we have until it's taken away from us. Health is another, you know, great example. I was just talking to my friend who had knee surgery and the pain that she's in, you know, and if we've never had that, we have no idea what that's like. Oh, I'm looking for my ribbon. I was playing with the ribbon with the cat. I think it's on my desk. Give me 1 sec. So what I'm going to do with the ribbon is I'm going to cut a short length that I'm going to do a little bit of a cheater bow. And there's 2 ways of doing that. Let me just measure here. I don't want to be off camera. There. And then flip it and just put a little bit of adhesive here and here. And then I can just tuck that ribbon down. Like so. This is really pretty ribbon. You could color it with your blends to any color you want, and the color would just stick on the white piece. I haven't tried it yet, but that's a good idea. All right, so now this piece can go down on the card, and that will give it a bit more stability. It'll hold that ribbon in place. So I like that idea. So yeah, take time every day to express gratitude, because even that simple act of taking time to be grateful for what you have will make you a happier person. Sometimes you have to think long and hard if you're having a hard day or if terrible things have happened, and they do. There. And now you could either make the bow and put it on with the glue dot. I went like this underneath and I tied a bow. But since I've done that on the one card, I kind of like that because it cinches it in. But let's make a bow and just do it with a glue dot, and then we can compare the difference. So I'm just holding it, kind of straightening it all out a little bit. It's really hard to show people how to make bows. It's kind of something you just have to practice and then do. So there's my bow. It actually looks pretty good. This is a really easy ribbon to tie with. So then we just want to cut our ends on an angle. I wish we could get more of this ribbon. There. And then see, I could just do it like that. But you see how you don't get that cinched look? I really like the cinched look. So I might save this bow for something else. And we're going to do another one. Okay. There we go. So now I'm just going to tie it nice and tightly. Like so. See how you get that nice cinch? And then tie it around. And there we go. Oh, there, good. Thank you, Danielle. I love it that all of a sudden comments show, because, you know, when you're doing this, see, now it's not long enough. This end isn't long enough. So what I'm going to do is just start again. Ribbon is very forgiving. And if you don't get it right the first time, don't worry about it. Just start again. So I'm not going to have enough left over to do anything else with. I was trying to save it. So it's nice the way YouTube works. Sometimes you don't see things right away. And I'm thinking, I've got nobody watching. And then all of a sudden some comments popped up, and that's really nice. You know, when you put yourself out there live, I'm struggling with this, aren't I? Then you do have to have thick skin, because things don't always go the way you want them to do right away. And sometimes you just have to persevere and things will get better. Okay. See, it's not all the way I want it to be. See how it's kind of going like that? If you fiddle with it a little bit longer, you will, maybe I'll like it that way. Doesn't always have to be perfect. See, you've got 2 different looking bows. They're both okay. So now we're going to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to grab my Stamparatus. And because it's a rubber stamp, I don't need the black mat in here. I'm going to take the template, the little, see, this had all the sayings in it. These are from the kit, okay? And then I'm going to pop this in right where it was, like so. And then the saying that we're going to use is wishing you comfort and peace at this time. So you just lay it on and slide it to where you want it to go. And then you just close your Stamparatus hinge, give it a nice press. You can check on your grid lines if it's straight and it looks pretty good. Then just put this back in place. And then I'm going to use my Night of Navy ink pad. And we'll just give it a gentle tap tap. And then press down here. I love the font and the words on this. And it's stuck. See, and you can see I messed up the other day. I got a line, so now I've trimmed my stamp. But this one looks quite nice. Wishing you comfort and peace at this time. Maybe I'll give it one more layer. You really want to make sure that it's in exactly the way it was. Paying attention to detail is pretty important for this. See, and there's too much wiggle room. It's a double. We're going to do it again. See, it's not perfect. It's okay, but it's not as nice as I would like. So let's do a different one. If I can find another one. Yes, here we go. So of course you're safer doing this before it gets taken out of the space so that it doesn't move around at all. I knew I was taking a chance. I'm going to give it a nice press and maybe I won't have to do it again. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we'll move our stamp apparatus. And then all we're doing is popping this up. And I'm actually liking the bow that it goes both ways. So, you know, with a sympathy card, you can keep it fairly simple. There's no nice paper, pretty bow, and sympathy cards do not have to be all dark colors. There, and people just love getting a homemade card. It means a lot. All right, I'm just going to do it like this. And then if you wanted to, I didn't add any bling to this card. We're going to add bling to the next card. So that's card number 1. And now we're going to do this card. Get well soon. You can write whatever you want on there, but the measurements are exactly the same for this card. If the paper is the same, it's from that same set from Celebration. Let's see what the other side looks like. See, it's really pretty. But I like just the green background, and then we've got a navy piece and our white card base. And we can just put them all together. So this piece, in case you just joined, is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And just advance your adhesive. I used to do my adhesive in just little bits and bobs around the edge, but now I go all the way. I don't want my card falling apart. And then you just eyeball it a little bit, do your top 2 corners, and then the rest follows. See? And then we'll do the same thing with the green. I like chopping my paper into 4" by 5 1/4 pieces because you can always cut them down more. And I find that when your paper is in this size, you'll use it and you won't hoard it. Let's love it, chop it, people. There. So now we want to make this trio of flowers. I have some already done, but we're going to do a few more. So this is Rococo Rose, and I'm going to do a navy one and a Rococo Rose stamped off. And then you can see how the flowers can be with that little thing in the middle, or plain, or stamped off. And then once you have a bunch made, you can just make a bouquet. So let's grab a piece of scrap paper. Here we go. I have my flower. And you know what? We'll do the Rococo Rose first. As I say this, I don't even have it. I have Petal Pink, but not Rococo Rose. I'm going to grab the Rococo Rose. Here you go. Wouldn't be a card with Jackie if I wasn't jumping up to get something, right? There. 1 second. So Rococo Rose is one of the colors that is retiring, and the retiring list goes up tomorrow. So I would suggest that you, if you want anything, that you order it today before things get crazy. So there's full strength, and there's stamped off. Isn't that pretty? So you get 2 colors, and they're both lovely. And it's different than the Petal Pink, which is why I wanted this color. Now I'm searching for my chamois. I found it. And then we'll do a navy one. I hope I left enough room. Okay, let's have a look-see. With the Rococo Rose. And I think maybe we can do this. Ooh, it's pretty tight. You know what? I'm being silly again. Do you ever have that where you just try to squeeze too much on there? And look, we can do a lighter one. That looks nice too. And then we'll do a few leaves. just to show you the difference. Oh, I put my finger in the ink pad. Should always close your ink pads, people. I tell you that, and then I don't do it myself. Okay, I'll just close that up. And then we'll use Old Olive, and let's get a leaf. There's the leaf stamp. And I keep promising you to show you that card that I made with that little branch, and I haven't done it yet. Maybe today will be the lucky day. So here we go. Old Olive. Oh, guess what? I'm going to use these extra little bits. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to re-ink my Old Olive, and I didn't. I re-inked my Night of Navy. So now we have just a light color. That's okay too. And then here it is stamped off, even lighter. See? And then the little branchy one, which I need to clean first. That little branch is super, super cute because you can use a marker and make little berries on the end. So here I've got full strength Old Olive. And then here I'm going to go lighter. Wow, it's a lot darker with a solid stamp than it is with a distinctive stamp. So now what we're going to do is just take some scissors and cut them out. So I have the full strength Rococo, and then I'm going to do the lighter one, the stamped off. Sometimes people call that generational stamping. And you know, sometimes as Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, we use words that if you're new to stamping, you'd have no idea what we're talking about. So if you're new to stamping, please know that we have, our colors all have two, most of them have two words in the name, and I forget what it is. Is it an alliteration? No, it's not an alliteration. There's an English word for it when the two words start with the same letter. Rachel, do you know? No, maybe it is an alliteration. So Rococo Rose, Crushed Curry, Balmy Blue, you know, that kind of thing. The only color I can think of that is only one word is Bumblebee. So, yeah. But when you first start, yeah, there's a whole lot of lingo. Our paper, our pattern paper is called Designer Series Pattern Paper because Stampin' Up! Designs its own paper. The nice thing about our paper is that it all matches with our ink colors and our cardstock. So when you start creating, you get a beautifully matching, coordinating. Oh, I kind of like the lighter blue better. Oh, you'll see. And you know what? I forgot. It's much easier when you're working with a smaller piece of cardstock. So cut it down, and then you can cut easier. And I go right down to the middle, then I pivot. Go around the other way. It helps if you kind of turn your cardstock as you cut. And you can choose whether you leave a little white edge or if you go straight down. That's just a personal preference. But this fussy cutting isn't as bad as it looks. I used to really go, oh no, you fussy cut. But it's okay. It's not bad. And you know, it's cheaper than dies. We all like to have dies, but my goodness, you sure do assemble a lot of them, don't you? My favorite dies are actually the ones that are like the stitched shapes. I use them a lot. The So Sentimental bundle is fantastic. It'll be interesting to see what's retiring and what's staying. So when the retired list comes out as a demonstrator, you're like, oh, but I've hardly used that one. And then you kind of go into a panic trying to show all the benefits of the stamps that are leaving. There you go. So now we have a blue one, we have a light one, we have a dark one, and we have our leaves. Okay, so what I like to do is I'm popping up all of these, but I'm putting my dimensionals only in the middle. And the reason I do that is that gives me just one in the middle. It gives me lots of room to tuck in the leaves. Okay, so let's have a look. We want the light one first. Doesn't matter, do whatever you want. So 1 and 2 and now that's the light blue one. Do I want to do a dark blue one? Let's try it. Why not? All of a sudden I'm thinking I want dark. Now you have to watch me cut out another flower. There. So I would like to know what your favorite retiring color is. Do you know what all the retiring colors are? They are, let me see if I can remember. Pretty Peacock, Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, Purple Posy, and Terracotta Tile. Now, I know that of those colors, the one I've used the least is Terracotta Tile. And I love the Seaside Spray. It's a beautiful, kind of almost a purpley light blue. And remember we had that Feels Like Frost paper and then the Seaside Spray ribbon that was metallic? That's still available, but that to me was a favorite. Just very beautiful. There. Okay, so yeah, I kind of like the dark one. See, let's see, the dark or the light. Both are nice. I'm going to make this one darker just because then it's different. And then maybe we'll put the other one in the inside. So here we go. There's the last one. Oh, I want to do it like this. And now we just want to tuck some leaves in behind. See? And then they're going, well, no, they could be flat too. Some of them are flat. Some of them are going to be popped up. This one's going to be flat. There. It's going to go down here. And this one we're going to pop up. And we're going to tuck that one down. See how nice it is that you can just slide it under? It's wonderful. And then this one's going to go there. And it's going to be popped up too. And don't forget, I'm going to show you the card for next week. And I might even give you the dimensions so you can prep ahead. And then we'll tuck this one in like so. And then the last thing we have to do is our sentiment. And it's going to be a get well soon because that one is included in the there. And it doesn't, you'll notice that I've gone over my card edge just a little bit. That's okay because there's a bit of wiggle room in your envelope. Now these are opal rounds and they're beautiful. And I'm just going to put a big one in each center of the flower. And that little extra bit just really makes a difference. So anybody who's ordering from me this month gets a free pack of these. You have to have a $50 order and you have to use the host code. So there's a few rules. Okay, so now the last thing we're going to do is get this. We've got the Stamparatus again. We're going to move this one out of the way and we're going to put this one in its place. Now we have to find the chamois and clean off that dirty one here. And then when you've cleaned off a lot of ink, then you can just take this thing to your sink, rinse it out till it runs clean, and then you're ready to go. I'm just going to put this back in the case. And oh, that's the wrong way. In this one, I've left the what do you call that? The negative, so that I can just pop them back in. And I know how many pieces I have. So now we're going to have to get well soon, and we're going to stamp it in navy. There. And then if you put a case under the other side of your Stamparatus, it gives you a nice stability. So we have our Knight of Navy. Now I haven't trimmed this stamp down yet. I might still do that, but it hasn't given me any grief. One more, just to get it a bit darker. Yeah, that's perfect. So now we can just pull this out. These are in the kit, the Gorgeous Posies kit, just in case you didn't know. So now, oh goodness, I have to tear apart my bow because I need this piece of ribbon. I kind of forgot. I'm just trying to get the kinks out of it. Put some adhesive on the back. And I'm covering the entire back with adhesive so that it has something to stick on. And then I'm just going to go like so. And there. So I will have a little piece that I can use for something. That, and then my edge got frayed a little bit, so I'm just going to trim it there. And then we'll put a few poppers on the back. See, it just looks a little bit like the breast cancer ribbon. You can do however you like. There's no rules for how you do your ribbon. And here we go. And then this card is finished. Isn't that pretty? I really like it. We'll put this card, this one, in the middle here. And we might as well give it some bling too, don't you think? Although, you know what? I want to show you an alternative, if I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. I just have to clean it off. I was using our gold ink. I'm not sure if it's still current. It was last year. I'm tapping this on and then look. There. So that's another nice little stamp in the kit. So let me show you some cards that we're going to be making next week. Okay. I showed you this alternative last time. I got this one from my team member, Yvonne. And this die is from the So Sentimental, or Stitch So Sweetly. And she just stamped all her things and then cut this out and then popped it up. It's really pretty. But here is my card for next week. And you can see that I tried to recreate, and I didn't know, there's no stamp for this flower. So I just recreated it, and we'll do that next week. And the little bling is from the spring flowers with the fresh ferns and all that. I'll know next week, okay? So that's the one card. And then did I do anything in the inside? I did. Isn't that pretty? The dies, those little die cuts are from the kit. Okay. And then I got this card. This is also an alternative from Caroline Van Roostel. And it's a ribbon slider card. Isn't that great? So another alternative. So we'll be doing these two cards next week, Tuesday at 10. So I will edit this video later and add a list of the supplies. And thank you so much for joining me, guys. I hope you have a super day. I would love to, I will read all your comments afterwards and reply to them. Okay, thanks. Bye.